2 Hurricanes, a Dakota and a Lancaster, plus the 2 Chipmunks used for training. As you can imagine, our small code of dedicated engineers is kept very busy, looking after 5 different aircraft types and several different marks. These World War II aircraft are preserved in fine condition as a living tribute. Up front we can see MK356. She was built in Castle Bromwich. Suffering 3 wheels-up landings over 60 operational sorties, she was eventually left behind in France as the squadron moved on after D-Day. She's painted in the desert camouflage scheme, representing the Mark 9 Spitfire operated by number 92 Squadron. Trailing her is LF363, the Hurricane. Built in Langley near Slough, first flown in January 1944, as well as the last version of LF363 served with 63 Squadron and 309 Squadron, where it was used in shipping protection patrols between 1949 and 1956. She was finished. And the Hurricane working hard to keep on the wings of the Lancaster. Today, the Lancaster is flown by Flight Lieutenant Tim Dunlop with the co-pilot, Flight Lieutenant Neil Farrell. The navigator and the flight engineer are always on board. During the war, the crew was 7, but luckily there is less call for defensive air gunners and bomber aimers nowadays. Over 7,000 Lancasters are built, but only 2 remain flying in the world. RAF is lucky enough to have one of them. During the war, Bomber Command suffered the highest loss ratio of any recorded combat. In all, 55,573 men were killed in Bomber Command. The flight's aim? To commemorate the 120,000 men and women who have given their lives in the service of the Royal Air Force. Flight Lieutenant Tim Dunlop, commonly known as Twigs, has been on the flight for 10 years. Twigs is a volunteer and gives his time and weekends to fly with the BBMF. He has previously flown the Hercules and been an instructor on the King Air. His current primary role, based at RAF Coningsby, flying the RAF's newest transport aircraft, the A400M Atlas. As you'll see, the Lancaster, Hurricane and Spitfire are lining up for a crowd left pass. As Flight Lieutenant Dunlop gives the instructions to the crews to roll out of their left turn and into the crowd arrival. Co-pilot of the Lancaster this year, Flight Lieutenant Neil Farrell, originally flying the Wessex until 2003 when it was retired from service. he became a flying instructor on the Tutor, teaching elementary flying training at RAF Woodvale. In 2008, he converted to the E3D Sentry and has seen operational tours over Afghanistan and Libya. He now operates as a flying instructor on the Sentry OCU. The flight has been based at RAF Coningsby since 1976. Home of the Typhoon Force and has 2 frontline Typhoon squadrons as well as 29 Squadron, the Operational Conversion Unit, and 41 Squadron. Whilst the BBMF has 12 aircraft and 5 different types, it only has 2 full-time pilots and 30 engineers, as well as 4 civil servants. As you can see, the Lancaster being trailed by the fighters coming through for their crowd right path. Led by Squadron Leader Andy Milliken. A small team of dedicated people ensures that the BBMF is seen throughout the country from May to September, every year. In fact, this year, BBMF is scheduled to appear at around 100 displays with 1,000 fly paths. Flight engineers, led by Squadron Leader Booth, Warrant Officer Chris York and Flight Sergeant Dave Burr. Our 30 engineers are working tirelessly to ensure that the BBMF aircraft are kept in excellent condition, conducting deep maintenance over winter, and then keeping the aircraft airworthy in the summer for these displays today. The system is just on the Spitfire display for this year. He will lead the display for the whole season with the Spitfire takeovers coming through the loop and into the wing over. Coming down the hill, the Spitfire gains speed rapidly. As we see, we will pass over around 100 feet as he goes down the curve line. If you'd like to know more about the Royal Air Force or the flight, you can find us at raf.mod.uk/BBMF. You can also follow us on Twitter. Our aircrew treat from their own accounts, such as BBMF_Spitfire. Finally, you can find out what we're doing, see great photos on Facebook and our official BBMF site. We also have Instagram and YouTube channel accounts. There are many people tirelessly working behind the scenes to make all of this happen. Our main support at air shows, coming from the public relations team that volunteer in their own time to speak about the aircraft and pass on our history to everyone here today. Back at Coningsby, the Visitor Centre volunteers provide great knowledge of the aircraft, and tours can be arranged throughout the year to come and see our engineers working on the aircraft when they're not in the sky. As you see, Squadron Leader Discom entering the crowd right for the second of the Spitfire passes. The BBMF PR team are located in the RAF village this year, just at the side of the Typhoon. So if you want to go and say hello, be sure to go down. You will find some of our crew there throughout the day. Come and say hello to everyone here. With leaking oil staining the fuselage and windscreen, Disco flew the Hurricane back to RAF Coningsby, and with the oil pressure dropping to critical levels, and his visibility restricted by oil on the windscreen and canopy, he executed a faultless forced landing on the runway and brought the aircraft safely to a halt. Disco had only 30 hours flying on type when he landed from this emergency. And as you see, Spitfire complete the victory roll for the fighter and the takeover. As Group Captain Mike Warfield comes into the Hurricane display. Group Captain Mike Warfield has been in the fight for 2 years, flying Hurricanes and hoping to convert to Spitfire later on this season or into next season. Working tirelessly with his day job as a station commander at RAF Coningsby, he balances a lot of his flying with the BVMF and comes over as much as he can to get more experience into the Hurricane. I see the Hurricane coming down out of the hill. It'll come down into the climb, lining up for a crowd right arrival. Flight's 30 engineers work tirelessly around the clock to help keep these aircraft serviceable. And this year we are proud to announce that all the aircraft are serviceable. We have obviously P7 in her primary role this year, and PM is still awaiting the final parts to get her serviceable for the end of the season. We have all the other aircraft here today, except for 2 Chipmunks. We're actually back at our home base in RAF Coningsby, ready for the training for the new pilot. As you see, Group Captain Mike Warfield peeling off. This is the Lancaster coming through for the low pass. She flies around 180 hours a year, and we're trying to keep it serviceable for the period of March through to October. The engineers have worked tirelessly this year to keep her serviceable and currently doing an absolutely great job. The pilot today, Flight Lieutenant Tim Dunlop, flew in the RAF 100 fly pass only on Tuesday, and he's back down here to fly the whole weekend with the BVMF. As you see the Lancaster rolling out, coming straight towards us now, you'll see Flight Lieutenant Tim Dunlop call for a left turn and banking straight across the crowd line. Ladies and gentlemen, I have to say, what an amazing photo that makes as the bomb bay doors open and she comes over for a belly open pass. Ladies and gentlemen, our motto is lest we forget. We hope that you remember our mission to commemorate those 120,000 personnel who have given their lives in the service of the Royal Air Force. I see the Lancaster come round for the crowd right. The fighters in the background, just lined up to join her on the flanks. Now you see the fighters chasing her down, looking to join back up with her by the end of the pass. The pilot's working hard now to peel off, get the separation right. Speaking to their Lancaster pilot, flight attendant Tim Dunlop, to find out what speed he's flying at, so they can measure their intake speed as they run up to the sides of the Lancaster. Coming round now, we see the fighters in position just off the edge of the wingtips of the Lancaster. Coming round for a crowd left arrival. You'll see them straighten out and come across D1 around 100 feet. They'll visually judge this due to the aircraft size, and will be keeping in constant comms with the Lancaster as they come through. Ladies and gentlemen, give us a big wave as the Lancaster Hurricane and Spitfire come past the BDMS Memorial Flight. We hope you've enjoyed our displays for this season, and we have many more to come. There's a few surprises for the next few days of the air show, and as that symphony of engines subsides slightly, the hairs in the back of my neck are still standing up. I'm not sure if there is a more evocative or stirring sound. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope that you do remember our mission, and please come visit us over at the PR tent for the rest of the air show. Ladies and gentlemen, the Royal Air Force Battle of Britain Memorial Flight.
Thank you very much indeed, Adam. Not the last time we'll see aircraft from the BDMF getting airborne in the course of today's programme, which will be continuing shortly with the next display item, which is the solo A400M from Airbus Defence and Space. But in the meanwhile, I believe Sam has some more announcements relating to the showground.
Yes, thank you, Ben. This is an important safety announcement. Please note that flying of any type of drone or small unmanned aircraft system in or around RAF Fairford is strictly prohibited. To be clear, flying a drone here constitutes a criminal offence. The organisers of the Royal International Air Tattoo would like to express their gratitude to officers from Gloucestershire and Wiltshire Constabularies and the Ministry of Defence Police for their support and cooperation in staging today's air show. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Back over to you, Ben.
Cheers, Sam. So A400M next. Then we've got the RAF Grob Tutor, the Red Arrows. You won't want to miss them just before 11:15. Then the next display after that will be the US Air Force Heritage Flight with the F-35A Lightning II, accompanied today by Spitfire and Mustang, we believe. Then the Swiss Air Force section with the FA-18C Hornet and the PC-17, both in formation and individually. The Czech Air Force Gripen, the Italian Air Force C-27J Spartan, the Spanish Air Force Patria Aguila, the Royal Jordanian Falcons, and then at 2:15, the RAF 100 flypast. As we were describing earlier, a hugely busy period of the summer for the Royal Air Force, because this is very much the height of the RAF 100 commemorations on a national extent, isn't it, Mark?
Yeah, absolutely. 2018 is a very special year for the Royal Air Force. And of course, the display we've just seen does actually mark one of the three aims of RAF 100, which are commemorate, celebrate and inspire. The commemorate bit is looking at the centenary of the Royal Air Force and all of those that have served the Royal Air Force and the nation over the last 100 years, and indeed the 120,000 service personnel from the Royal Air Force that have given up their lives in the noble pursuit of freedom. From two world wars through to the Cold War and the Falklands, and of course the more recent conflicts in the Middle East, we are celebrating those that have served before us, and also looking to today, where we celebrate. It's a great opportunity for celebrating the whole force of regulars, reserves, civilians and contractors, and indeed the wider Royal Air Force family. But also we need to look forward. The UK at the moment does not produce enough people to fly and engineer and design and build the aircraft. So we need to inspire the next generation of aviators, engineers and scientists through numerous science, technology, engineering and mathematics programs, or STEM. Also the Scout organisation taking on the Air Researcher Badge, and a number of school activity, STEM activity days that are actually taking place on schools around the country. And here at RIAT, apart from the aircraft of the BBMF, the Great War Display Team and the Norwegian Air Force Historical Squadron that we'll be seeing in the flying programme over the course of the 3 days, we've also got an excellent collection of static historic Royal Air Force aircraft, some of which you can find in the Vintage Village, and some very rare exhibits down there. The Yankee Aviation Film Services Sopwith Camel replica flew in, the World War I Aviation Heritage Trust B-2E, and a clutch of aircraft very kindly provided by the Shuttleworth collection at Old Warden, the Avro Tutor, the de Havilland Tiger Moth, and we saw landing on earlier, having been delayed in getting here yesterday, their newly restored Spitfire 5C, which was brought in by their chief pilot, Dodge Bailey, and is making its first display appearance away from its Old Warden base here in the Vintage Village this weekend. And then that leads on to an array of post-war Royal Air Force aircraft, including the beautiful Bristol Sycamore helicopter of the Flying Bulls, a Gnat from the Gnat display team, a Hunter F-58A from HHA, Martin Baker's beautiful black ejection seat test Meteor T